If Grant ever proposed, I'd say no on speakerphone. Lena said it with a laugh, like it was a clever line she'd been waiting to use. People around the table chuckled, then looked down at their drinks when they realized I was sitting right there. I smiled, nodded once, and said, "Good to know." 3 days later, she came home to a half-empty townhouse, a clean paper trail, and a note she couldn't spin. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video plays, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. We lived in Fayetteville, Arkansas, not the flashy part people post about, just a normal neighborhood near the Greenway, where you can hear lawn mowers on Saturdays and kids riding bikes after school. I'm Grant. I'm the steady type. I work as a compliance analyst for a regional bank in Springdale, which is a boring way of saying I get paid to notice details and keep things clean. Lena worked as an event coordinator for a boutique hotel downtown. She liked people, lighting, vibe, all of that. She could walk into a room and make strangers feel like friends. I liked her energy because it was the opposite of me. I handled budgets, plans, and long-term stuff. She handled sparkle. We were together a little over 3 years. We'd lived together for 14 months in a townhouse I leased under my name. Her credit wasn't great back then because of some old medical bills, so we kept it simple. She paid me a set amount each month, and I paid the landlord. It wasn't romantic, but it was legal and clear, and I thought that was a good foundation for a real life. I know people say love shouldn't be spreadsheets, but I've seen what happens when things get messy. I grew up watching my dad get stuck paying for my mom's choices because we didn't want to fight, so I learned early that calm planning is not cold, it's protection. And Lena, at least at first, liked that about me. There's one night I still see like a scene in a movie, because it's proof I wasn't just some guy passing time with her. About a year into dating, her younger brother got arrested for something stupid. Not violent, just stupid. She got the call at 2 a.m. and went white. She sat on my bathroom floor in an oversized shirt, knees pulled to her chest, shaking so hard her teeth clicked. She kept saying, "My mom is going to break. She can't handle this." I didn't give her a speech. I grabbed a blanket, sat with her, and called my friend Derek from work because Derek used to be a paralegal before he came to banking. I asked him what questions to ask, what not to say on the phone, and how to find the correct court info in the morning. Derek answered like it was normal because he's that kind of person. The next day I took off work. I drove Lena to her mom's place. I sat at the kitchen table while they cried and argued and made calls. I went out and got coffee and breakfast sandwiches and came back without being asked. Later, when her brother finally got released and walked out looking scared and ashamed, Lena ran to him and held him like he was 10 years old again. That night, when everything calmed down, Lena leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, "Thank you for not making it worse." That mattered to me. I thought, okay, this is real. This is what partners do. So when things started to drift later, it didn't feel like a small problem. It felt like someone quietly unbuilding something I worked hard to build. It didn't happen all at once. It was like the temperature changed 1 degree at a time. About 6 months before the night at the brewery, Lena started going out more. At first it was normal. Hotel events, networking, industry people. Then it became a new routine. Thursday happy hours, Saturday brunch that lasted into dinner, Sunday reset days that somehow didn't include me. She also started treating her phone like it was a living thing, always face down, always in her hand. If a notification popped up, she'd swipe it away fast, like she was brushing off a fly. I didn't grab it, I didn't demand access. I'm not that guy, but I noticed the change because that's literally my job, notice patterns. She joined a gym too, not a chain gym, one of those boutique places with LED lights and classes with names like Ignite and Beast Mode. She bought new sets of workout outfits. She started wearing perfume to run errands. She started taking selfies in the bathroom mirror, but when I walked in she'd lock the screen and smile too wide. And then the name started showing up. Miles. She mentioned him casually the way you mention a song you used to like. Miles works with one of our vendors. Miles used to live here. Isn't that funny? Miles is actually really good at negotiating. I learned that from him. I knew Miles was her ex. I wasn't guessing. She told me about him early on. He was the guy she dated in her early 20s, the intense one, the on and off one, the one she said she'd outgrown. He's charming, she told me once, rolling her eyes like she hated that fact. But he's chaos. I don't want chaos anymore. At the time, I believed her. But the more she said his name, the more it felt like she was trying to make him normal again, like she was sanding off the warning labels. One afternoon, I came home early because my meeting got canceled. Lena wasn't home yet. The living room smelled like her vanilla candle, but it had been burned recently. The kitchen counter had 2 wine glasses in the sink. 2. I stood there with my keys still in my hand, staring like an idiot. Maybe her friend Tessa came over. Maybe her coworker. Maybe she poured 2 and only drank 1. There are 100 innocent explanations. So I didn't jump to the worst one. I washed the glasses, put them away, and told myself to relax. Later that week, I asked her about it lightly. Hey, did someone come by the other day? I saw 2 glasses. She didn't even blink. Oh yeah, Tessa stopped by for a minute. We talked about the charity gala. Tessa, sure. Except Tessa texted me 2 days later asking if Lena still wanted to come to brunch next week, like they hadn't seen each other in a while. That's when the little alarms started going off, not because of the glasses, but because of the casual lie. I didn't confront her about that either. I just filed it away. Receipts matter, and not everything is a receipt. Some things are just smoke. Then one morning, I opened our shared email on the laptop. We had a household email. It was for utilities, streaming services, the HOA newsletter, stuff like that. I was the one who paid the water bill and the internet, so it stayed logged in on my laptop. Lena used it sometimes when she needed to send vendor info or print something quickly. It wasn't a secret account. It was literally called something like Fayetteville Townhouse Home. I was sipping coffee, half awake, clicking through the inbox to find the electric bill. That's when I saw a subject line that didn't belong. Your reservation is confirmed, the Magnolia Crest Hotel. I clicked it because I assumed it was spam. It wasn't spam. It was a real confirmation email. 2 adults, 1 king suite, check-in Friday, check-out Sunday, special request, late checkout and champagne on arrival. And the guest name listed was Lena's. The second guest name was Miles Carter. My chest went cold, but my hands stayed steady. That's how I am when something is too big. My emotions freeze and my brain takes over. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the laptop. I read the details like I was reviewing a report at work. The Magnolia Crest Hotel was in Dallas. Lena had told me she had a vendor training weekend in Dallas coming up. She said it was optional but good for her career. She said she'd go with some coworkers from the hotel. I scrolled down. The payment method was pay at property, but there was a deposit receipt attached as a PDF. It showed the last 4 digits of a card number. I knew those digits. It was her card, not mine, not the shared account, her card. So this wasn't some weird fraud case. This wasn't a glitch. This was her booking a romantic hotel weekend with her ex and sending the confirmation to the household email because she didn't pay attention when autofill filled the contact info. A lawful receipt, sitting in plain view in a shared inbox, like she put it there herself. I stared at the screen for a long time, not because I didn't understand it, because I did. When Lena came home that night, she tossed her purse on the chair and said, "Babe, I'm starving. Can we do takeout?" I looked at her and tried to match the person I loved to the person in that email. "Sure," I said, "what do you want?" She smiled like everything was normal, like the world was steady. While she was in the shower later, her phone buzzed on the counter. I didn't pick it up. I didn't need to. The screen lit up and a notification banner appeared. Miles can't wait for Dallas. It was there for about 2 seconds before the screen went dark. That was enough. Still lawful, still visible, still not me crossing a line. The next day she started acting almost cheerful, like she had a secret that made her feel powerful. She hummed while she got dressed. She kissed me quickly but not deeply. She asked if I could feed her cat Juniper while she was busy next weekend. That Friday was the brewery night. It was trivia with her coworkers. I normally skipped those because I'm not great at loud rooms, but she insisted. "Come on," she said, tugging my sleeve. "It'll be fun. You need to loosen up." So I went. The brewery was packed. Long tables, string lights, people shouting answers at a guy with a microphone. Lena looked great, I'll give her that. She wore this fitted black dress and boots, hair curled, lipstick done. She looked like she belonged in that room. We were at a table with her coworkers, some of their partners, and a couple friends. I knew maybe 2 names. Mostly I smiled, listened, and drank my beer. At one point, someone made a joke about proposals. One of the guys said, "Man, if my girlfriend ever asked me to propose in public, I'd pass out." Everyone laughed. Then someone looked at me and Lena and said, "Grant, you're the quiet one. You're probably planning some perfect proposal already." I didn't say anything. I just looked at Lena because I didn't want to embarrass her. It wasn't a serious moment. It was trivia night. Lena leaned back in her chair like she was on a stage. She lifted her glass and said, loud enough for the table and the next table to hear, "If Grant ever proposed, I'd say no on speakerphone." The laugh she gave after it was sharp and bright, like she wanted it to cut. A few people laughed automatically, then it got weird. You could feel the air change. Someone cleared their throat. Someone took a sip like it was urgent. I looked at Lena. She was smiling at me like she'd won something. I could have made a scene. I could have asked, right there, why she booked a hotel with Miles. I could have watched her panic in front of everyone. But I didn't want that kind of moment. I didn't want to be the guy arguing at a brewery. So I kept my voice calm. "Good to know," I said, like I was acknowledging the weather. Her smile faltered for half a second, just half. She leaned closer and whispered, still smiling for the crowd, "Don't be sensitive. It's a joke." I nodded, sure. When trivia ended, we walked to the car. Cold air hit my face like a reset. Lena got in, still riding the high of being the funny one. "You were so quiet," she said. "Are you mad?" "No," I said, "just tired." She rolled her eyes. "God, you always do that. You go quiet and make me feel like I did something wrong." I didn't argue, I didn't defend myself, I just drove. At home, she kicked off her boots and said, "You know what? If you can't handle my humor, maybe you're not my guy." I looked at her then, really looked. She wanted me to plead, she wanted me to chase, she wanted me to reassure her. Instead, I said, "Okay." Her face tightened. "Okay, what?" "Okay," I repeated, "if that's how you feel." She crossed her arms. "You're not even going to fight for me." I kept my voice even. "What would that look like, Lena? Me arguing that you shouldn't humiliate me in public?" She scoffed. "You're being dramatic." And that's where the quiet decision clicked into place. Not the email, not even the notification. This moment, the way she saw herself as the victim because I didn't smile through disrespect. I went to the bedroom, took a shower, and lay in bed next to her without touching her. She scrolled on her phone for an hour, glowing screen lighting her face, and then she fell asleep like she hadn't just cut me in half in public. I didn't sleep much. The next morning, I got up early, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop like it was a workday. I opened a blank document and made a list, not an emotional list, a practical one. Lease, utilities, bank accounts, insurance, phone plan, mail, furniture, cat. I wasn't doing revenge. I wasn't trying to teach her a lesson. I was removing myself from being an option. That's it. I called my landlord, Hank. At 9 a.m., Hank was an older guy with a calm voice who fixed things fast and didn't ask personal questions. "Hey, Hank," I said, "I'm going to be moving out. What's the cleanest way to handle notice?" He asked, "Everything okay?" "It's fine," I said. "I just need to end the lease." He told me the options. There was a fee to break early, but it was manageable. He also told me something important. Since the lease was in my name only and Lena was not a listed tenant, the landlord's agreement was with me. If I moved out and surrendered possession properly, the lease ended. Lena didn't get to just stay because she lived there, not without a new lease, which Hank would not sign without credit checks and income verification. That wasn't me kicking her out. That was the legal reality of our setup. I thanked him and told him I'd confirm the move-out date. Then I did the next thing. I opened my banking app and looked at our finances. We didn't have a joint checking account, which I was thankful for, but we did share some stuff. Lena was an authorized user on one of my credit cards. Her phone was on my plan. Her name was on my renter's insurance because she lived there. I called the credit card company and removed her as an authorized user, totally legal. I was the primary account holder. I didn't cancel her life. I just removed my responsibility. I called the phone carrier and asked what it would take to separate the lines. They told me she could port her number to her own account, and until then, I could keep paying my portion and stop paying for extra add-ons. I turned off the device upgrade feature and removed autopay from the shared card. I kept my own line active because I'm not trying to strand anyone. I'm just not sponsoring them. Then I did the hardest part. I texted Lena and asked if she could meet me for lunch. She replied fast, "Why, I'm busy." "I need to talk," I wrote. She sent about what, last night, stop being weird. We met at a casual place near the square, a lunch spot with plastic menus and chipped tables. She sat across from me like she was doing me a favor. I kept my voice calm. I saw the hotel confirmation. Her eyes blinked once, slow. "What hotel?" "The Magnolia Crest," I said. "Dallas, 2 adults, you and Miles." For a second, she looked like she might admit it. Then her expression slid into something practiced. "You went through my email," she snapped. "Our shared email," I corrected. "The one for utilities, it came in there." She leaned back, angry now. "Okay, and it's not what you think." I nodded. "Then tell me what it is." She tapped her nails on the table. "Miles works with a vendor. We're meeting about a contract. It's business." "At a king's suite with champagne?" I asked, still calm. Her jaw tightened. "You're so judgmental. You don't understand my world. Not everything is spreadsheets and rules." I looked at her and waited. Silence makes people fill it. She sighed like she was the one exhausted. "Fine, I'm not sure what I want right now." There it was, not exactly the words, but the energy. She leaned forward, lowering her voice like she was giving me a privilege. "I need space to figure things out. I'm not saying I'm leaving you. I'm saying I need to see what feels right." "You mean Miles," I said. She didn't deny it. She just said, "Don't make it ugly." Then she added, like the final twist of the knife, "Honestly, you should be grateful I'm being honest. Most people would just cheat." I let that sit for a second. "Okay," I said. She blinked, confused. "Okay." "Okay," I repeated. "You can have space." Relief flashed across her face, quick and smug, like she thought I'd just agreed to wait on a shelf. She grabbed her iced tea and stood up. "Good, because I have a lot going on. Don't blow up my phone, okay?" I nodded, sure. She walked out with her head high, like she'd negotiated something in her favor. She didn't know I'd already decided. That was Friday. By Monday, the exit was done. I spent the weekend packing my things. I didn't touch her personal items more than I had to. I didn't go through drawers. I didn't read private messages. I packed my clothes, my books, my work stuff, the things I bought. I took photos of the townhouse the way Hank asked me to for move-out condition. Floors, walls, appliances, clean, documented. My neighbor Maya saw me carrying boxes and came over. Maya is an ICU nurse at the hospital, the kind of person who has seen real pain and doesn't waste time on fake stuff. "You okay?" she asked. I kept it simple, ending a relationship. She nodded like she didn't need details, need tape. That's how real support looks, not gossip, just tape. I rented a small storage unit for my bigger stuff temporarily. I scheduled a mover for Monday morning, not a dramatic moving truck with music, just 2 guys and a dolly, in and out. Sunday night, I printed the lease termination paperwork and the email confirmation from the hotel, not to post online, not to show friends, just to have my own records in case someone tried to rewrite reality later. Monday morning, I met Hank at the townhouse. We walked through. He checked the place, saw it was clean, and we signed the paperwork. I paid the fee and handed over the keys. Then I left a note on the kitchen counter, plain paper, black ink. "Keep the applause, I'm done." 5 words, no insults, no paragraphs, just the truth. I also left her a more practical message in a text, because I'm not trying to create chaos. I ended the lease today. I removed you as an authorized user on my card and took my name off shared services. Your phone number can be ported to your own plan anytime. Your things are in the townhouse. You'll need to coordinate with Hank for access. Please keep communication to text. That was it. Then I drove to my friend Derek's place and crashed on his couch because he had a spare room and he didn't ask questions until I was ready. By the time Lena realized what happened, she had already lost the stage. Her first call came in that afternoon while I was at work. I didn't answer. I wasn't ready to hear her performance. Then the text started. "What is this, Grant? Pick up. Are you serious right now? You're being petty. Where are you?" I waited until the evening and replied once. I'm safe, we're done, keep it to text. 3 minutes later, we're not done, you don't get to decide that. That line actually made me laugh, quietly, alone on Derek's couch, because she didn't hear herself. Over the next day, she cycled through everything. Denial, you're overreacting, it was business. Anger, you invaded my privacy. Guilt, after everything I've been through, you abandoned me. Bargaining, let's just talk in person, I'll explain. Rage, you're a coward, you ran away. Then the flying monkeys arrived. Tessa texted me first. You really left Lena like that, she's a mess. I replied, this is between me and Lena. Please don't contact me about it. Tessa sent, wow, cold. I didn't answer. Lena's mom called me. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message saying, Grant, I don't know what's going on, but Lena is crying and saying you threw her out. Please call me. I texted back, respectful and short. I'm sorry she's upset. I ended my lease and moved out. I won't discuss details. I wish you well. Then Derek, being Derek, helped me anticipate the next move, the story she'd tell people. So when a mutual friend, a guy named Cole, messaged me, bro, what happened? Lena says you disappeared. I didn't argue. I didn't send a novel. I sent one screenshot. The hotel confirmation email, just the part with 2 adults and Miles Carter. No address, no personal data beyond what mattered, enough to stop the rewrite. Cole replied, oh, damn. That was the end of that conversation. Lena tried to get into my emotions by poking my pride. She sent, you always wanted to be the good guy. Congrats, you're still boring. I replied, please stop. She sent, or what, you'll write me a policy memo. I didn't answer. 2 days later, she sent a photo of the note on the counter. Seriously, keep the applause, who are you? I typed, deleted, typed again. Then I sent the only line that mattered. I'm the guy you embarrassed in public. After that, I muted the thread. She showed up at Derek's place once. I know because Derek texted me a picture from his door camera. Lena standing there in heels like she was arriving at an event, mascara smudged, looking shocked that the door didn't open for her. Derek didn't engage. He didn't even speak through the camera. He just let her stand there until she left. That's what boundaries look like when your friends respect you. A week later, I went back to the townhouse one last time with Hank present to pick up a few things I'd left behind. Lena wasn't there. Hank said she'd come by twice, tried to talk him into letting her stay, and got angry when he explained the lease situation. Apparently, she told him, he can't do this to me. Hank, in his calm landlord voice, told her, ma'am, I don't know your relationship, I know my paperwork. Consequences don't have to be dramatic when they're legal and clear. After the move out, life got quiet in a way that felt scary at first. No more humming in the kitchen. No more random plans dropped on me. No more feeling like I had to guess what mood she'd be in when I got home. Just silence and my own thoughts. So I built new routines. I got my own apartment, smaller and simpler. I bought a decent couch off Facebook Marketplace and a used coffee table that wobbled a little. I hung 2 framed prints I actually liked, not the ones Lena said matched the vibe. I set up my workstation near a window and started eating meals at a real table again instead of standing in the kitchen half waiting for someone. I started going to the gym, but not a boutique one, just a normal place with fluorescent lights and people minding their business. I met a trainer named Ramon who didn't try to be my therapist. He just told me, show up 3 times a week. That's how you win. So I did. I also went to a few therapy sessions, which was new for me. Not because I felt broken, but because I didn't want to carry bitterness into whatever came next. The therapist asked me, why do you think you tolerated the early signs? And the honest answer was simple, because I wanted my investment to mean something. But investment doesn't guarantee return. That's a hard lesson, and it's true in love as much as money. At work, my focus got sharper. I stopped checking my phone every 10 minutes. I started leaving on time. I applied for a senior role I'd been hesitating about, and I got it. Not because Lena held me back like a cartoon villain, but because I finally had my energy back. Some nights I missed the version of her I thought was real, the bathroom floor version, the grateful version. But missing that version didn't mean I should go back to the version who made me a joke at a table full of people. About 5 months later, Derek invited me to a charity auction event at the Walton Arts Center. It was a fundraiser for a local food bank. Derek's cousin was involved, and he had an extra ticket. I almost didn't go. I'm not an auction guy, but I'd been saying no to too many things, hiding like the world belonged to her. So I put on a blazer, went with Derek, and told myself it was just a night out. The lobby was bright and crowded. People in nice clothes, name tags, silent auction tables with gift baskets and getaway packages. The air smelled like perfume and hors d'oeuvres. I was looking at a table with a framed guitar signed by someone I didn't recognize when I heard her voice. Grant. I turned and there she was. Lena looked different, not worse, just smaller, like her confidence didn't fit as perfectly as it used to. She wore a sleek dress and her hair was done, but her eyes were tired in a way makeup can't hide. She smiled like she was trying to step back into an old script. I didn't know you'd be here. I'm here with a friend, I said, calm. Her gaze flicked to Derek and back to me. Can we talk, just for a second? I should have walked away. I didn't owe her anything, but I also didn't want to live like she could still scare me. So I said, sure, 1 minute. We stepped a few feet away from the crowd, near a poster about the food bank. People were still around. Public, safe, no drama. Lena took a breath like she'd practiced. I've been thinking a lot. I didn't handle things right. I didn't respond. I just waited. She kept going. I was confused. I felt trapped. You and I were comfortable, and Miles showed up and it messed with my head, but that doesn't excuse what I said. Her voice softened. I miss you. That was the hook she used, the soft one, the one that tries to make you feel special for being chosen again. I looked at her for a long second, not with anger, with clarity. I'm glad you can say that now, I said, but we're not doing this. Her face pinched. Why are you so cold? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I just told the truth. Because you already made me public, I said. You don't get a private redo. Her eyes filled fast, like that was her best weapon left. I made a mistake. I nodded once, and I made a decision. She reached out like she might touch my arm, then stopped. So that's it, after 3 years. I kept my tone level. It ended the night you turned me into a punchline. She swallowed hard. I didn't mean. I cut in gently, not harsh. I'm not your partner. I'm not your option. Please don't contact me again. There was a pause where she looked like she wanted to argue, but the crowd was close, and she knew she couldn't perform the way she used to. Not here. She forced a small smile that didn't reach her eyes. Okay. I stepped back, giving her space. Take care. Then I turned and walked back to Derek, without looking over my shoulder. We stayed for another hour. We laughed at some ridiculous auction items. Derek bid on a gift card just to mess with his cousin. I ate a tiny dessert that cost more than it should have. And I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Freedom, not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind you feel when you realize you're no longer available for disrespect. On the drive home, Derek glanced at me and said, "You good?" I looked out at the dark highway and the calm dashboard lights. "Yeah," I said, "I'm good." Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.